The late October sun hung low over Maplewood Lane, its golden light spilling across tidy lawns and cookie-cutter homes, each one screaming suburban perfection. Maplewood was the kind of place that sold itself as a haven quiet, family-friendly, the American dream wrapped in a picket fence. But beneath the polished surface, something ugly simmered. And at the heart of it was Evelyn Carter, the iron-fisted queen of the Maplewood Homeowners Association. She wasn't just a busybody. She was a force, wielding the HOA rulebook like a sledgehammer, sniffing out violations with a zeal that bordered on obsession. Across the street lived Daniel Harper, the town's chief fire investigator, a man who'd seen enough ashes to know truth doesn't burn. He'd moved to Maplewood for its calm streets and good schools, hoping to give his 12-year-old daughter, Sophie, a safe place to grow. Sophie was Daniel's world, a bright, creative kid with a laugh that could light up a room. But she also had a sensory processing disorder, a condition that made the world feel like a screaming, blinding storm. 3 years ago, after losing his wife, Emily, to a sudden illness, Daniel poured his heart into building Sophie a sanctuary sensory therapy room in their home sunroom. Soft lights, a gentle swing, weighted blankets, and the hum of white noise made it her refuge, a place to calm her overwhelmed senses. He'd gotten every permit, crossed every T, but he didn't think to ask Evelyn's precious HOA for permission to fill the room with love. That was his mistake. Evelyn didn't just notice Sophie's room. She fixated on it. From her own sterile colonial, where the grass was unnaturally green and the shrubs looked terrified, she'd peer through binoculars, muttering about strange noises and unapproved modifications. The hum of Sophie's white noise machine, the faint creak of her swing-it, drove Evelyn wild. She couldn't see inside, thanks to Daniel's privacy fence and frosted window film, but that only fueled her paranoia. To her, Sophie's room was a rebellion against her perfect Maplewood order. It wasn't just about rules, though. Years ago, Evelyn's sister, Margaret, had struggled with anxiety and sensory issues, a weakness Evelyn's family buried in shame. Margaret's pain was a stain on their pristine image, and when she faded away, Evelyn blamed her for not being normal. Sophie, with her therapy room and Daniel's fierce devotion, was a mirror Evelyn couldn't stand to look into. That resentment twisted into something dark, something personal. Evelyn started small, firing off HOA letters about excessive noise and unauthorized structures, even though Daniel's neighbors swore they heard nothing. Daniel responded with calm, offering medical records to prove Sophie's need for the room. Evelyn scoffed, dismissing it as irrelevant to her sacred covenants. Her complaints escalated whispers to neighbors about weird goings-on, a confrontation when Daniel caught her snooping over his fence, binoculars in hand. Her face flushed with rage when he told her to back off, and from that moment, she wasn't just annoyed. She was unhinged. One crisp Saturday, with wood smoke in the air, Daniel was at the hardware store, grabbing supplies for a leaky faucet. Sophie was home, curled up with a book, watched by their trusted babysitter, Mia, a sharp 17-year-old. The therapy room sat quiet, its door ajar. Evelyn saw her chance. She'd been watching, waiting, her mind a tangle of righteous fury and twisted logic. That room had to go. It was a defiance of her control, a mockery of her authority. Under the guise of raking leaves, Evelyn crept to Daniel's backyard, hidden by overgrown bushes. In her gardening bucket, beneath a pile of leaves, she hid a plastic bottle of charcoal lighter fluid and a cheap lighter. Her heart raced not with fear, but with a sick thrill. She told herself she was SAVYing Maplewood, purging a problem. With a quick glance around, she poured the fluid over a pile of dry leaves and twigs against the sunroom's wooden siding. One flick of the lighter, and flames roared to life, clawing up the wall towards Sophie's window. Evelyn didn't linger. She tossed the bottle and lighter into her trash bin and slipped back to her yard, a smug smile curling her lips. Inside, Sophie sniffed the air, catching a sharp, acrid scent. Smoke curled under the Lee-Vy-ing room door, and the smoke alarm screamed. Mia sprang into action, grabbing Sophie's hand. "Fire! We're getting out now!" she said, her voice steady despite her pounding heart. She pulled Sophie to the front lawn, dialing 911 as flames erupted behind the house, black smoke staining the sky. Daniel's phone buzzed as he paid for his supplies. Mia's name flashed, and his stomach dropped. "Mr. Harper, there's a fire. Sophie's safe, but the sunroom, it's burning." Mia's voice shook. Daniel dropped everything, sprinting to his truck, his mind a blur of dread and training. He screeched on a Maplewood lane to find fire trucks REVYing, flames licking the sunroom. Sophie and Mia stood across the street, safe but terrified. Daniel ran to Sophie, hugging her tightly. "You're okay, kiddo," he whispered, his voice breaking. As firefighters battled the blaze, Daniel's instincts kicked in. He grabbed his extinguisher, knocking down the worst flames before the hoses took over. The fire hadn't reached Sophie's room, but the damage was gut-wrenching. Standing in the smoke, Daniel's eyes traced the burn marks, a clear V pattern low on the wall, the telltale sign of arson. Then he saw it, a melted plastic bottle, reeking of lighter fluid. His gaze shifted to Evelyn, watching from her lawn with a look of fake concern and barely hidden satisfaction. Their eyes locked, and she turned away, fussing with a sprinkler. Daniel knew. "Captain, this is an arson scene," he told the fire chief, his voice like steel. "Preserve everything. I'm calling my team." His unit arrived, led by Deputy Chief Lisa Torres. They found lighter fluid in the soil, a reconstructed bottle, and a discarded lighter on Evelyn's property, her fingerprints on it. Neighbors came forward, admitting they'd seen Evelyn near Daniel's fence, acting shifty. A security camera from the next-door Wilsons sealed it. Evelyn sneaking to the sunroom, dousing leaves, and fleeing as smoke rose. When Lisa confronted Evelyn, her polished facade cracked. She denied everything, her story shifting inside, doing paperwork, then guarding out front. But the Denke was ironclad. The next morning, as Evelyn tried to flee with packed suitcases, police arrested her for arson, assault, and child endangerment. Maplewood reeled, the news spreading like wildfire. How could their HOA queen do this? At trial, the Denke was overwhelming. Evelyn took a plea, unable to face a jury. Daniel stood in court, not as an investigator, but as Sophie's dad, his voice raw as he described her nightmares, her fear of being alone, the violation of her safe space. The judge, stone-faced, gave Evelyn years in prison, restitution for the damages, and a lifetime ban from contacting the Harpers. Her wealth vanished, her reputation ash. Maplewood rallied around the Harpers. Volunteers rebuilt Sophie's room better than before, with fireproof glass and a security system. Sophie, with time and therapy, began to smile again, her laughter echoing in her sanctuary. The HOA, shamed, elected new leaders who cared about people, not power. New rules protected residents from harassment, ensuring Evelyn's tyranny wouldn't return. One evening, Daniel watched Sophie swing in her restored room, fairy lights twinkling, ocean sounds humming. Justice had been served, not just for Sophie, but for every family Evelyn had bullied. The fire meant to destroy had exposed a monster, and Maplewood was healing. What do you think? Did Evelyn deserve her punishment, or was she a product of a broken system? Should HOAs have this much power over our homes? Could Daniel have stopped her sooner, or was her obsession unstoppable? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button, and subscribe for more stories that spark debate.